control.
I feel like Elon Musk still has his eye on South Africa.
Of course, he still has
I think
his
he
eye.
wants to buy the whole of Africa. He wants to bring South Africa on his knees and buy it. Almost every family in South Africa has been affected by HIV. And which means if they stop this, it can affect my family, it can affect your family, friend, relative. Someone will be affected. Now, this is what's bothering Americans. Well, not all of Americans, I'm American too, but what's bothering, this is going to be a tough one too, Ulalo Popeye America. The people shall dance. It is, it's things are happening.
Yes.
Let's chill. What's good, family? Welcome to our channel. I'm your host, Caesar Chaplin, and my co-host.
It's your boy, Coach LJ. What's popping on this day? What's going on today?
Yes. So today we're diving into a major global development where President Donald Trump of the United States, of course, has officially signed an executive order cutting off financial aid to South Africa. We woke up to this on the 7th, I believe, of February. And it's actually a hard one as a South African as well and an American. I didn't think that this day will come so soon where I'd have to choose.
Already, right?
Already.
You just said it like that.
Already.
You just said it.
Donald Trump, what you doing, boy?
What you doing?
So, on a serious note, now, why did this happen? He claims it's because of alleged racial discrimination against the white Afrikaner minority. We're going to go into numbers here. And I'm going to add a clip as well just to show you what he said when he was asked, why is he doing this? This man is just going off the wall about something that he hasn't even probably researched. He just heard from his best buddy, Elon Musk, who happens to be South African as well. I don't care if you've been naturalized by Canada and by United States. You are born in South Africa. So that makes you a born South African, all right? And so who's been saying things in his ears? And of course, Donald Trump will not listen to you twice if you have money. He will listen to you the first time around. So,
Mr. President, you said, so on Truth Social, you said that you were going to cut aid from South Africa. Will you plan to cut aid across other African nations, and why South Africa?
No, it's only South Africa. Terrible things are happening in South Africa. The leadership is doing some terrible things, horrible things. So that's under investigation right now. We'll make a determination. And until such time as we find out what South Africa is doing, they're taking away land, they're confiscating land. And
apparently, the government is threatening white South Africans who happen to be the minority and who happen to be in power for the longest of time and were able to get so much land from black people for absolutely nothing. But with South Africa's new land law, of course, they're trying to make things, evened out, equal, which of course will not get to that. But they're trying a way to expropriate the land, but not in the way that Donald Trump is explaining it, okay? Because a lot of injustices were done during the time of apartheid.
Yes.
Where things were taken by force by the minority. So, but what does this really mean for South Africa as a country? Or even what does it mean for Africa as a continent? Or what does it mean for the world? Because this little thing that America is doing, well, we think it's little, can be a ripple effect to other policies and other things, because we've seen, like, within the month that Donald Trump has been in power.
Yeah, he's going against other countries. Yeah, even the Spanish countries.
Yeah, he's shaking up the world. And in most cases, not in a great way. He's just doing things that are against the norm. He's doing things that are taking people's jobs, or risking people's jobs. He's doing things that he feels are the best for the United States, but it's also even affecting just your regular citizens of America.
Yes.
So what do you think about that? So which direction are we going in this?
Yeah, I think the thing is though, because these policies, it affect not just the United States. It's not just affecting South Africa, but also affecting the world.
Yeah.
And so every decision that they making is affecting not just one party, but affecting everyone. And so this
And
is,
the regular people.
and the
out
regular
in the
people. So
streets.
yeah, so this is why the things that he's doing, is it damaging the American, or is it helping the American?
So how to understand the USAID suspension? Here's the bigger picture. We must first understand why this happened. Why is Elon Musk and the Trump administration painting USAID to be this enemy? Because yes, the problem is that the US claims it's halting aid due to South Africans' land expropriation policies. But is it really about human rights? That's a big question. Is it really, are they really concerned about the white Afrikaner man? Or is it there a deeper economic and political agenda?
It's all power.
Nothing else.
It's all power.
It's a money play.
It's not even really care about the white Afrikaners. A lot of times, it's all about power. A lot of times they still want control.
I feel like Elon Musk still has his eye on South Africa.
Of course, he still
I
has
think
his
he
eye.
wants to buy the whole of Africa. He wants to bring South Africa on his knees and buy it.
Of course, because he's still South African, so he's still a citizen of South Africa. He's still to come and go as he please.
Yeah.
So he still have an eye on her, and so
And he knows the potential the country has.
exactly, and he know because he born and raised in South Africa, so he know what's there, and so and then he's in America, and he kind of using America. That's why I'm saying you can't really trust him. You could say, oh, he loves American. Hey, do he really? He could love Canada. He could love South Africa.
Because he's a triple citizen.
Yeah, triple citizen. So you don't know his true plans or whatever. He could tell you one day, but mean another. So you never know, and he know, the what's in South Africa. So and using Trump as the president to bring South Africa to their knees. So yeah, I think it's all power, it's all control. And so, yeah,
I feel like it is, like you're saying, a political play. But let's unpack what USAID is.
Yeah, please.
For those who don't understand what it is.
Yeah, because I don't really
it's
know
one of
what
those
it
agencies
is.
that I really would love to know. So USAID, which is USAID, United States Agency for International Development.
Okay.
That's what it stands for. Is the primary U.S. government agency. It's a primary U.S. government agency responsible for providing international development and humanitarian assistance.
Okay.
Right? It was established in 1961. So this agency
Doing
is over what? It's over
50 years, 60, about 60 years old.
It's
Yeah,
64 years old.
Yeah, 60, yeah.
Right? It's 64 years old this year.
Yeah.
So USAID
It's
works...
my real age.
And my mom's age. USAID works to promote global stability, economic growth, health, education, and democratic governance in developing countries like South Africa. So it's not only based in South Africa, but it's based around the world in mostly developing countries. So why is USAID so important? Humanitarian aid provides emergency relief during natural disasters, conflicts, health crises, your COVIDs, your Ebolas, you name it.
HIV.
HIV and AIDS, yes. Global health, that's, supports programs for disease prevention like your HIV and AIDS.
Education.
Maternal, child health, and access to clean water and sanitation.
Okay.
Economic growth, it encourages entrepreneurship, job creation, and infrastructure development to reduce poverty.
Okay.
Democracy and governance, it strengthens institutions, promotes free elections, and supports human rights worldwide. Natural security, it helps prevent instability, extremism, and migration crisis by addressing root causes of conflict and poverty. Environmental protection. It funds projects related to climate change. Of course, we know who does not like climate change.
Yes.
Or does not agree that climate change exists. Conservation, and sustainable resource management. So USAID plays a key role in U.S. foreign policy by fostering international partnerships and promoting global stability, which benefits both the United States and whoever that it's giving assistance to. So they getting some well, by the way.
Yeah, of course, they're not going to give money and not get nothing.
Exactly.
So what, because, America always, South Africa have to give something or whatever these
All
countries.
the countries,
yes,
yeah. Because like I said, it's not just for South Africa, but it's
other countries. So, a lot of times because South Africa do have different resources, so they had to give up some of the resources to get the other,
of
to
course,
get the aid.
to get the help, yes. And I mean, I read an article where USAID has spent over $500 million US in South Africa in the past years with assistance with, the programs that we just listed, but most especially HIV and AIDS, medication, which is ARVs. ARVs, antiviral pills that help people who are living with HIV and AIDS not to have who are living with HIV, not to have full-blown AIDS. And almost every family in South Africa has been affected by HIV. And which means if they stop this, it can affect my family, it can affect your family, friend, relative. Someone will be affected because that aid money has been a huge help for countries like myself. Well, not like myself, but like South Africa, to assist in this huge gap that has been caused by this deadly virus. South Africa, for a long time, was the leading country in Africa when it came to HIV infections. Was it because they were just loosely lying, having intercourse? Absolutely not. There are many ways to get HIV, and unfortunately for South Africa, they happen to have one of the strongest strains. So that is why it was easy for the duplication to happen. What caused the strain? We don't know. Maybe environmental impacts, maybe the water that they were drinking, whatever. But the point is, the strain in South Africa was one of the harshest, and hence it took away millions of lives when it was not under control. So thank God to medication that came in and assisted in putting it under control, because a person who takes ARVs cannot transfer it to the next person. When your viral load has become dormant, which means it cannot show its head up and be seen, it's at a point where it's controllable and manageable, you can have sexual intercourse with someone and not infect them with HIV. So that's where we are right now. Progressed.
Yes.
You can have a child, you can fall pregnant.
And the child don't get it.
And the child does not get it. So this is what Trump and his people are trying to take away from people in South Africa. Because they're not affected, of course. They probably have, not even probably, they have private care. Even with Elon Musk, he knows his family back home has private care.
Yes.
They can access medication in America or anywhere in the world just by a click of a thumb. And families like mine who rely on government intervention are going to face the music very soon if nothing is done. So that's the situation. For me, it hits home. And I pray to God that whatever that they're trying to do does not win and does not work. So,
but the thing is, though, you don't want to sound desperate neither.
We're not desperate, but we're just saying that this is the situation.
Yes, it is the situation.
And of course, South Africa is not sleeping right now. They're probably working on a plan B. But
yes. You have to be working on a plan B.
But it will disrupt.
Yes, it was disrupt.
Because they were not prepared for this.
Yes, there wasn't. And so this is why you always had to have, a business person, you always had to have a contingency plan.
I'm sure they have a contingency plan.
Yeah, you have
but it
to.
doesn't take away from the fact
I
that
know. Yes,
it's something
they're
that
depending on it for so long.
Exactly, over 60 years.
Yeah.
Like all of a sudden,
yeah. But and this is
decide
why
to just
because you
cut
never
off
know
the
what's
tank.
going to happen. You never. And so for 60 years though, this is why even for those 60 years, you should have been doing other things and finding other
And
things.
remember, the past 60 years, it's not saying that we're not saying
Because
that.
in apartheid still doing a
I'm about to say that
years as well.
in the 60 years.
So that was rough for South Africa as well.
In the 60 years, USAID was not in South Africa.
Yeah, you're right.
Because we were sanctioned from the world.
You're
within
right.
apartheid.
Sanction. Yeah.
So we probably started getting help after in the
90s,
in
probably
the democratic government. So for South Africa, it hasn't been 60
No,
years.
it hasn't
It's
been
probably
60.
been 20-something
20 years.
years,
Yeah.
know. But that's not the point. The point is this, that they're using this land reform in South Africa as an excuse. And this has been a long-standing issue for South Africa and the white Afrikaner. Black South Africans were disposed of their land during apartheid.
Yes, there was. Yes, there was.
They were thrown out in their homes, their rightful homes, and those taken by force. There was no money exchange. Taken by force. They were.
Don't that sound familiar?
Very familiar.
Because then they do that to the Native Americans?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's why
It's
when
something
people
like
claim that, I'm American, I'm born. Are you American Indian? Because those are the Native Americans.
Yes.
All of us have been naturalized.
Yes, all of us.
Either you've been naturalized by birth or by certificate like me.
Yes, yes.
But you're naturalized. You're not the real deal. Donald Trump is not the real deal.
No, he's not.
Somewhere in his bloodline, someone decided to come to America to acquire the American dream.
Yes.
And then end up he being born here and becoming an American. The people that can stand up and say this is our country are the Red Indians or the Indian Americans who were all almost killed.
Yes.
The instinct, because they were so greedy wanting this land for themselves. Why can't we share? Now, this is what's bothering Americans. Well, not all of Americans, I'm American too, but what's bothering, this is going to be a tough one too, what's bothering these people who are buying this narrative is that why are white South Africans getting along with black South Africans? This is what's bothering them. And we have a lot of white South Africans now speaking out to say, nobody's taking our land. Where are you getting this from? They're actually speaking out now. They're like, stop. Where are you getting this narrative from? Yes, a bill has been signed, and South Africa never said we're going to be like Zimbabwe, where we're going to kick you out without even compensation.
Yes.
Even if there's no compensation, there will be deals that will be made. It's not going to be done in an inhumane way, like you did it to the black people.
Yes, I agree.
There's going to be negotiations, and there's going to be agreements, and there's going to be...
And that's part of negotiation.
Exactly.
It's mutual. It's a mutual agreement. We're able to come together and agree.
Yeah.
But it seems like America don't know how to do that. No. That's the problem. They try to bully everyone.
Because guess what?
They try to bully China. They try to bully
everyone.
And a lot of times, this is why a lot of countries don't like America, because they try to be a big bad bully, the wolf. And they don't know how to come together in agreement, and that's the problem. And so I think that's the issue when you're not to come together and have agreement.
So this is the sad part, is that when policies change, because policies have to change.
Yes.
A black government is in power. They've been in power for 30 years. They did not do anything in the last 30 years, which means they wanted to do it.
It's a lot of corruption. Yes.
Forget corruption. They wanted to do it right. They didn't want to repeat what we saw in Zimbabwe when Mugabe came in and said, out with all white people.
Yeah.
And the black people took over the farms and everything. We saw that didn't work. So we didn't want to repeat history because Zimbabwe is right next door. We feeling their misfortunes now, because now Zimbabweans
now we got to support them.
Exactly, we have to come and support them, because now things are going south. They went south on that day. Yes, we know that the global community is gonna react, because they want to protect their their investments, because we know people have invested in these farms, people have invested in the economy, etc. And if you throw the white Afrikaner out, who holds majority of these companies, it's going to affect the economy. But when policies change, Western businesses, we know they will have interest, right? And then in order for them to force us not to make decisions in our own countries, they will then say, we're going to cut aid.
Yeah.
You know, we're going to cut aid. So you do it our way or no way. So is there justice in that?
Yeah. And you know, and just thinking about it too, because cutting aid, that could play us, because you got to remember, he's also trying to prevent BRICS. And South
There's
Africa,
a lot.
South Africa is part of the BRICS. And he don't want BRICS to go through.
Right.
So
South Africa could just be a scapegoat for many other reasons.
Yeah.
And he's just using this as like, but the sad part is using something that is not even tested.
Yes.
You know. So we know that US has a history of using aid to influence policy, right? We've seen it do it in the Latin American government. And you know, and it didn't work out. How in the previous administration, Donald Trump was like, Mexico is going to pay for the wall. Mexico said, we shall not. Thank you very much. And Mexico did not. Okay. So we've seen them try to force matters. But if countries stand still and say, we're not going to fall for that, we're not. Like you said as well, for South Africa, the key in diversifying economic partnerships like BRICS, you know, BRICS, which is Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, are already strong economic allies. And
ain't Russia in the BRICS though?
Russia's definitely, I said Brazil,
that's
Russia.
friend.
We don't know. We really don't know. Are they really friends? We do not know. But these companies have also invited other companies. I mean, it's not companies.
Argentina's countries.
You know what? They act like companies.
They are business. Each country is a business. Each country is a business. Yes.
They've invited other
Egypt,
countries.
India. I mean,
UEA, which is a big player, especially in oil and gold and all that. So it's going to be interesting because BRICS does want to bring the United States dollar to its knees. They don't want the United States to be the ultimate currency. You know,
I hope it stay that way, though. I want America to be the ultimate currency.
Of course, because we're American, we're going to say that. But is it good for the rest of the world? Let's be fair. Is it viable to say that if you are not American, with the currency being so high, that if you borrow from the monetary fund, for example, monetary bank, bank,
you got to use the American
you're
dollar.
You're gonna have to use the American dollar, and your currency is times 1,000, for example. So you're saying these other countries must suffer forever just because they're not in the USD, they're not American. Is it power or is it justice?
Yes, I agree.
What is
even
it?
like with
What is it? Power or justice?
Power. Because even like with you gotta remember, you know, and because just like America was on the gold standards before. You know, they was on the gold standard, but they got off the gold standard because they didn't like what was going on. Because they wanted more money. They want to be able to print money and print more money and be able to use it. So that, you know what? Let us get off the gold standard so that we able to print as much money we can. Because as long as, remember, when they was on the gold standard, they couldn't print money like they used to. Because they was on the gold standard. But when they came off the gold standard, then there was
But that's ancient years ago.
Yeah,
you know,
ancient years,
things are moving forward. So here's another point. How will this impact South Africa's economy? It's going to be severe because these people on these ARVs, for example, and all these other programs that USAID has been assisting in, these are, working class people.
Yeah.
These are regular citizens who cannot afford majority of them cannot afford private health. You know, these are people who are really, really relying on these social programs to come through for them. You know, so when money now stops flowing, who will suffer?
The people.
The people.
It's always the people. It's always the
people.
It's always the people.
So, South Africa, are you, South Africa is relying on these international aids for several social programs. So cutting the U.S. funds could impact not just their livelihoods, it will impact healthcare.
Mm-hmm.
It will impact education. It will impact business development. And already South Africa, as we speak, black people, there's 30% unemployment in the youth of South Africa, young black youth. In white people, 3%, if not less. And majority of them, by the way, they are born with a silver spoon. They already have a generational wealth. So they will not even feel the pinch, most likely. I'm not saying that don't employ them, don't hire them. They need jobs just like everybody else. But what I'm saying is they account only for 8% of the country's population. So chasing away, I'm not saying chase away, but I'm just saying, let's say they were chasing away 8% of the population. What about that 92%? So are we willing to have 92% people die because of 8% of the people? It's a hard pill to swallow. We are called the Rainbow Nation for a reason. South Africa is called the Rainbow Nation for a reason because we are able to live. We love DEI. We love it. That's what keeps the country moving and going. America, on the other hand, has decided
to remove
it. And it's going to hit people like ourselves hard.
Yeah.
We're going to see these policies starting to take, because already we're hearing in the federal government that people have been stopped, they've been blocked from entering federal offices.
Yes, federal offices.
They've been blocked from using their federal emails. They've been blocked from so many things that they were able to access before. Ulalo Popeye America. The Popeye shall dance. It is. It's things are happening.
Yes, and with the DEI too, it's like the black businesses because they depend on government contracts, tenders. So and so he removing.
But guess who's the biggest benefiter of
Elon?
Thank you. His billions come from there.
Yeah, government contracts. All the satellite, all his cars,
everything.
The shuttle is all government contracts.
Never has been in his own cash.
Never. But said PayPal, because he did sell PayPal.
But it wasn't his cash, generational wealth. He got money somewhere. You can't tell me an 18-year-old has money.
Yeah, no.
Somewhere.
Generational wealth. Yes. But then because black people do depend on those contracts. Because you gotta remember, DEI made it easier for black small businesses to be able to get grants to get those contracts.
Somebody said, I was listening to someone this afternoon. They said, besides DEI standing for diversity, equity, and inclusion, it also has A, which is accessibility, which is a big one.
Yes, accessibility.
Because many black people or minorities in America were not able to access certain things because they were not the right color.
Yes, they wasn't the right color. Yeah.
Systemic racism in this country called the United States is real, and right now it is rife.
It's right, yeah. And so the one thing I heard Trump said something that he moving all these different things, diversity, inclusion, the holiday, even with the holidays, he cutting off the funding for all these different holidays and
not just any holidays. This
Black History Month, he called out Black. He called out. So he's moving all these different things, right? And so he's saying, and I heard him say something too. He said it's going to be merit based. When America was ever merit based?
When was it ever?
When was America ever merit? It was never fair. It was never fair. That's why it was DEI in the first place. And DEI is not real, really.
DEI in this country is even more important because.
But is it really real? Because a lot of people who was getting DEI? Because you gotta remember, white women is in the DEI.
DEI, yeah.
So what black people
Asians
really?
were in the DEI.
Yes, Asia was in the DEI. India was in the DEI. So what black people actually benefit for DEI? Because it was hiring the white women and so all these people is DEI.
Anyway,
but the thing is though, because even with with these different A's in America, another thing too, even with the education, It made it harder because he cut off the federal government, the grants to get student loans. Who depend on the student loans?
The regular
Black people.
people. Well, let's get back to USA.
But black people, because black people, we need that to get an education. We depend on that.
I don't think he can ever be a commentator, honestly, because
I'm just saying. Come on.
So let's back to the issue. Well, Afrikaners really seek asylum in the U.S. because they've offered them asylum. This apparent policy has not even been rolled out yet, but they've been invited to come and seek asylum in the United States. So the white Afrikaners.
They can't. They seek asylum.
No. Donald Trump has offered them to seek asylum.
But they want to kick out the black people, the Spanish.
Exactly.
But they want to give the white people asylum.
Rich white people, by the way.
You get them asylum, but you want to kick out the black people.
Because black people are not bringing anything in their hands.
Yeah. But again, because we're not good for anything, because we don't want him.
That's what they think we are.
Yeah, you're right.
We've built this country with our bare hands.
Bare hands.
So that's not true. We are good.
We are good for something, but
because even these white South Africans that he's calling in, he doesn't realize that those farms are in existence because of these black hands. Mm-hmm. We're the ones who work the fields.
Yes.
The white Afrikaner points and says, Turbo, go and plow that field. And I get $2 a week for that. Hard labor.
But again, though, because just like with the DI, he taking over because he removing them so that what he see us for is to work in the fields.
That's it.
And to work in the warehouses. That's what we good for, is to work in the warehouses.
I want you to change your statement. We are not good for that.
But no, I'm saying that's what he said. No, I said we not. I'm not saying we. I'm saying that's what he think that we good for is to work in the warehouses. I'm not saying we. I'm talking about. I'm just saying
because this can be clipped, and then you could be appearing to say that we are good. No, we are not.
Yeah, no. I'm saying that he think we good for just being in the warehouses. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Again.
So the U.S. has stated it will offer asylum to white South Africans, citing racial persecution. Wow. But how many will leave? Because like I said earlier, our white African people are happy.
They don't want to go nowhere. Yeah, they love South Africans.
Listen, so history shows that political asylum
they love the culture. They love
are
the
often
vibe.
more about optics than migration. So yes, some Afrikaners may leave, but many are deeply rooted in South Africa's culture, economy, farming, business sectors, and for them, it won't make any sense to uproot everything and go when there's nothing for them to do here. First of all, where will they be farming? Mm-hmm. They don't want to be living in Kansas. Maybe that's why they want them here. Maybe they're thinking, they're going to bring in but the soil is not the same.
No, the soil not the same.
Yep. So the Zimbabwean, like we mentioned before, Zimbabwean land reforms, they led white farmers to go to your Australias, your United Kingdoms, your New Zealand, because of what's happening there when they were chased out. But in South Africa, we're trying to do it different. We don't want to be chasing them out because we know what it did to Zimbabwe. So we want to do it right. But now Elon Musk and his friend, Donald Trump, they are putting their head and trying to mess up a whole policy in a whole different country, or on the other side of the world. Yeah. Friends who are in places. It's not what you know, it's who you know.
It's who knows you, actually.
Oh, exactly.
It's who knows you.
So as we sum this up, the future of South Africa without USAID, what does it look like? South Africa must redefine its economic strategies without USAID to maintain growth and stability. Like my husband said already, that they have to find another strategy to go around this.
Yes.
So that America does not have to pull their nose and force their hand into doing things that they want to do.
Yeah.
If they decide to take their aid, South Africa, you got to come up with something.
Yes. Because you can look at China, China, you can look at Rwanda. So there are some examples, that's out there. You have China, you have Rwanda. So you gotta find other, and then you gotta find other allies
So maybe this could be South Africa's way to push them into being self-reliant.
Exactly. So it could be a blessing in disguise because maybe we were too reliant, and so and because with all the corruptions they was getting all the money but so maybe now
because I feel like they can be self-reliant because they've been misspending in other areas, and they could just take that and put it where it's supposed to go.
Yes, because the one thing about Zimbabwe and South Africa, I think South Africa had more resources than Zimbabwe. So I think South Africa can overcome
Zimbabwe
it.
was once called the basket of Africa. So they were one really was flowing with honey and milk, to be honest.
It probably was, but like I said, because the corruption was so strong, and it was so much corruption when they took it, or they were so reliant on it, and they feel like what we could do it without it. But you gotta have a plan, and I guess Zimbabwe really didn't have a plan because the corruption was more deeper than what they was doing.
You made mention of Rwanda. Rwanda, they have managed to build a booming economy by focusing on internal development and regional trade. So they're trading within their borders or within their neighbors. So South Africa must learn to do the same. They must learn to do the same. I know they're doing it to a certain extent, but I think they just have to expand it now.
Yes, you got to expand.
Look at China's Belt and the Road Initiative that takes South Africa. South Africa could even leverage that because China has built like this huge railway thingy where they're able to export things from China into Africa. So South Africa could leverage that and and build new economic allies to replace the loss of U.S. support. Because I know some country will step in.
Yes, I mean you gotta find other allies that will want to work with you, and then also too you gotta learn. Okay, you know what? This can happen again. And that's one thing about America.
Find a way.
This is what I love about America, because when America get hit, they are resilient. You might get them once, but you won't get them a second time.
You say so. So how do we move forward without USAID? This conversation is really bigger than politics, as you've seen.
Yes,
even among the dual citizen South African American. It's a hard one. Listen, and the American here. We will push this country. It's okay. It's about the future of South Africa, and it's about the future of the normal citizens of any other country out there, third world country, developing country that's been benefiting from USAID. Because USAID, like we said, it's not only touching South Africa, but it's touching all these other countries around the world that are developing and that were really benefiting from the USAID. So will this push the country towards self-reliance? We hope so. Or create economic struggles? Could be both.
Could be both. And you got to remember, okay, if they take it away, it could be a struggle for a while.
Yeah,
we get it, but
they could
bounce
back.
Yeah, you can just by being resourceful. Sometimes you got to learn how to be resourceful. Okay, because you were so dependent on that money for so long, for the longest, but now you got to you know what, we could. Oh my God, look at this. Deep Sea. It's an AI app.
Okay.
Right, it's an AI app, and it's supposed to be like on ChatGPT, but better on steroids.
Okay.
ChatGPT, OpenAI spend billions of dollars because they got the chip, because they're in America. We got the chip. China don't have the chips like AI, like America have.
Right.
So they spending billions of dollars to build ChatGPT. You have DC that's in China that don't have the money that OpenAI to get, and they was able to build a similar ChatGPT without using all the money that OpenAI getting. So now OpenAI spent billions of dollars.
Well, but if you're first if you're a first runner, that's what happens. You'll spend more than the person who's duplicating.
No, but they can't get the chips like America. America have all the chips.
Okay, so let's go back to
but
this.
I'm just saying though.
I'm
just saying though. But look at I'm trying to prove a point though. Deep Sea use they don't have the money to invest into, so they had to be resourceful. They had to use what they have with the little chips they do have, and they had to find other ways to make their AI just similar or even better than ChatGPT.
Okay,
That's what they're saying. So, it lets you know what I'm trying to say is you can be resourceful with little, but you just got to find another way.
All that to say this.
That basically that's what I'm saying. Like
you.
even with the A, right? Okay, if they take it away, you just got to learn how to find another way because the thing is, if DC is able to build an AI that's similar to ChatGPT without the billions of dollars that OpenAI was getting, if they could do it, then you can also do other things. That's like a masterclass for anyone because if you just strategize, if you plan, if you be resourceful, then guess what? You could find a way.
You, Mr.
That's all. That's why I brung that up. It's just an analogy, an example that I want to try to use. A $1 billion company that have all the chips, all the money, and you have a company from Asian that don't have access to these chips, and they don't have access to all this money, but they still was able to build an AI that can compete with OpenAI. That's what I'm saying.
Point taken.
That's
we close
that's the main note.
Here's the good news. The attempt on dismantling the USAID has been blocked in the United States. A federal judge has temporarily blocked the Trump administration attempt to dismantle U.S. agency for USAID. So the move follows a lawsuit arguing that the administration's actions could cause a global humanitarian crisis, which is so true, and threaten national security. Because when there's a humanitarian crisis, it will threaten national security in the United States. That's why USAID went out there to make sure that people don't get live beyond. They become so poor that they have to rely on humans on coming into their country. So they instead of you having people come in to rush in, let's help them in their own countries. That was the whole point of this, right? So the dismantling of the USAID requires congressional authorization, and so we are counting on Congress. We are counting on Congress.
Yes.
Right now, Congress is Republican majority, but we are counting on them.
You're talking about South African Congress.
American Congress.
Okay.
We are counting on South. We're not even talking about South African aid anymore because that has been cut off now.
Yes.
But we're just talking about what about other countries because now they're trying to dismantle the whole department altogether.
Yes.
USAID
altogether. Oh yeah. He want to get away from a lot of departments.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of departments.
So Congress has to make the final say, and we pray that they get into their human part of their lives and nature. And have Ubuntu, have humanity.
Yes, humanity.
And realize that it's going to get worse than they're making out to be.
Yeah, because you make it enemies instead of doing allies. So a lot of times, we need each other. America needs Africa, South Africa needs American. We need Asia, all these different countries and continents. We need each other, and it's about forging relationships, not tearing relationship apart because we need each other. American. I don't care all this you trying to do to get away from all these different things, but we need these other countries to also live and to do.
And on that note, I say to you, Africa, your time is now.
Yes, your time is now.
Shine.
Educate yourself.
Thank you for tuning in. Please don't forget to share this video.
Yes, subscribe.
And let us know what you think in the comment section. What's your take on this? Is the U.S. going to go ahead with this? What they've decided with USAID in South Africa? Is it going to spread to other countries? What is your take? We want to hear you in the comment section. Have a good week. Take care. God bless you. Bye-bye.
Deuces. Peace.